Hi, hi everyone. I just like to talk about media today. I have some concerns. UK and England, or in UK somewhere, they're taking Facebook to court, which I've seen repeatedly happen. But their concerns are that Facebook is allowing the conservative speech to get through. It's not just conservatism, it's globalism versus nationalism, and the UK represent globalism, although I don't understand that with their Brexit, how they can be representing it still. They have a global agenda. That's why Theresa May is off her rocker, and she's just not accepting Brexit and their separation from EU, which is a globalism outfit, which is a bag of horse shit, basically. And the attacks on Facebook are pretty rapid at the moment. Macron, the leader of France, has come out against Trump and said he's all for globalism, that immigration has to happen. It's great, under Hillary, all these countries were bombed. These people have to leave and infiltrate the West, and they're using that to push through globalism and push through the mark of the beast and New World Order. And Macron is right in charge of that. And of course, he's working very closely with Facebook right now to shut down conservative speech, shut down nationalism. For him, that's a Nazi. Well, hey, come on. The Nazis are George Soros, he's sponsored Ukraine. And then Ukraine freedom fighters all wore Nazi armbands. And then Antifa was sponsored by the same guy. Then the caravans, probably in the EU and down south in Honduras, going up to USA and other places, they were also sponsored by UN and George Soros, and Catholic Church is somehow involved in it as well. I don't know. Probably the Catholic Church has no idea, and I don't know how they're getting the funding aid, where that's coming from. Apparently some of it's coming from charities. So it's like, well, if people knew that, they wouldn't be giving that money. And yeah, UN is quite interfering and wants globalism, because in 2023 it has written down in its laws it will be a global government, and that it's abhorrent because they have taken over nationalist countries, like New Zealand, for instance. Our leader Helen Clark in Labour, with the help of John Key, who was an international banker under George Soros, kind of a investor. So every time George Soros pumped money into something or withdrew his money, John Key and others would follow. And so he's made a lot of money helping George Soros get richer, and then he leaves the country. So he helped John Key, because he came back from Hawaii, came back to New Zealand and helped get United Nations laws into our country and rule us. Now you think, well, why am I talking about one country, New Zealand? It's like, well, this has happened all over. This is one example of how nationalism took over. I don't know how EU got to the point that they're at, but it made practical sense. They wanted to be kind of like Russia, but really they've got a bunch of nationalities in there, very strong nationalities, and they're trying to remove that and create one government, EU. But they're very pro-globalism, and Macron was very pro-globalism, and he's always been against Trump, and he wants to create his own EU army to replace American soldiers, which is kind of like the Fourth Reich that we're getting back to World War II with. And I don't understand it, because EU helped Ukraine leave Russia, and all the Ukraine freedom fighters were Nazi armbands. It's like, well, why? You meant to be anti-Nazis, yet you're helping. And it just doesn't make sense, the whole EU mess. I'd like to, that's just a starter tape, but I'm worried it's not just Facebook, it's Google, YouTube, Twitter, taking down some top guys. Milo was a big advocate for the Conservatives. He represented the gay community, and he's been removed from YouTube. I see he started up another YouTube account. Twitter took him off. Facebook took him off. He's really been persecuted because he has been quite naughty, I guess, with his free speech against liberals. It's all right for a liberal to say what they feel. They can call us whatever they want, but with the Conservative, we can't likewise do the same. We've been given this higher mantle of free speech, but I think the real problem is the governments are all globalists now, and they're making use of that to control the Facebook, Google, and everything else. What's happening with China, where they're going to socially control all their people. They might not be a globalist country, but the way they're controlling their people will be. And everyone wants to sell to China. I don't know which one sold, was it Twitter or Google, but somebody has sold a lot of their shares to China, and China's trying to take over social media. I can't believe it took over Hollywood. That's abhorrent to think that China is in charge of Hollywood. It's abhorrent what's happening, but we need to get control back. We need social media. We need our voice out there. We need everyone to speak up against for free speech. The free speech in social media is like really, really important. I don't understand why most of you are just happy to sit by and look at dogs on Facebook, comment on silly little things. News is very, very important, and if we are in the end times, I don't know if we are or not. I know that it will go that way. It may be before the end times, and we just have to live under these end time rules for years before it really happens, because all these idiots just pushing us there already. IT technology is going to get us there and will destroy us. But I just hope that everyone wakes up. With me, it's taken me a long time. I used to believe in the news. I used to believe the Russians were bad. There's millions and millions and millions of Christians in Russia, and Russia, believe it or not, standing up for free speech. They're the ones that said that Syria should not be attacked. They're the ones that have helped bring sanity back into some of the wars. They haven't started wars. Ukraine, yeah, there's a bit of tension there now, but Ukrainian, they're a bunch of globalist Nazis. And you have to be careful, because they have a global agenda. They have a global agenda to make Russia look bad, so everyone gets up in arms. And I want to say also the Mockingbird. Mockingbird was what helped control media. It was a policy devised where CIA had agents or were meant to oversee the media. Whether or not who's a CIA spy is another thing, but the real thing is they had control of the news. So if a topic was of national security, you couldn't talk on that subject. And that's been happening in New Zealand. I mean, you can talk about silly little things here. You wonder why there's no real news, because we're controlled. We can't talk on certain topics in media. That's why social media is being attacked. They're starting to make rules, what we can talk about, can't. I guess we need some rules, but swearing, degrading people, we have to be a little bit careful. Maybe the people that were heading the way, that got their name out there, were more harassing type people, then those people go. They have to be replaced. Unfortunately, people watching, like myself, have to step up. What do we know? I mean, we're just ordinary people, but we do know when we're being conned by the media, when it's gone too far. And sometimes our jobs are at stake for standing up for what we believe in. And yeah, if you can, guys, just subscribe to me. I need all the help I can get. This is my first 10-minute video. I just wanted to ramble on a bit. I'd like people to pick my mind. I'd like people to know where I'm coming from and be able to pick my mind and be able to know everything that I know. And I think this is the idea of social media. Social media is to pick each other's minds. And when we do that, we might have an understanding of how to change, how to improve and represent media properly, and hopefully our media can get back to a decent media where it can report the news, and there are more rules and less rules, more rules of reporting news properly, no biased news, no propaganda. Propaganda is hurting. American propaganda throughout the world. It's not American propaganda anymore, it's globalism propaganda. It was American propaganda under Obama, then it became globalism propaganda, because Obama represents globalism. I mean, you can count how many times in each speech he said globalism. It was huge. And yeah, just too many leaders like him now, too many in the world. I mean, each country you can name 2 or 3 people that are globalists. And yeah, thank you very much. I mean, I wish my country was a good country, but we fell for the lies like everybody else. Thank you guys for your time.